and most especially Richard. This is a treat for me because I met Richard many years ago when I first joined Toastmasters. So to see him come all this way and to hear him share the story of his path in Toastmasters and what we all can do in Toastmasters in terms of communication and leadership, this is a real treat. As many of you know, Richard is a very experienced Toastmaster, and again, he does many things that we can learn from. One thing that always strikes me when Richard talks is that he not only comes right up to the front and really connects with the audience, but Richard, you have such a strong voice. I always envy that kind of emphasis and dramatic kind of quality. You had a hook right away, a line of poetry from Robert Frost, I Took the Road Less Traveled. And I think that always kind of brings us along in the journey. And I had the feeling as Richard was talking that because Saeed had touched on many of the same things in terms of leadership and in terms of examples of people right here that have a whole lot of leadership in Toastmasters, that he was literally changing the speech as he was going along. And he has such an ability, you have such an ability to really connect with people that was working. One thing that struck me is that he actually referenced it. So instead of that being a detriment or something that we feel like it's a repeat, he referred to Saeed and what Saeed had brought up. He spoke from his own experiences visiting different clubs. One of his tasks was to use visual aids, and he had brought all the badges that he has earned in Toastmasters, and then also shared kind of different experiences he's had. One thing that struck me is the story about Lance, the speaker in the Hollywood Club, and that Lance was just over a few seconds, which we can all relate to, but then the next time he tried it, he won. So even at that level, with all that kind of practice, there are ways that we can still work together. One of the things that, besides the badges that were the visual aids, is that I think Richard has a wonderful use of gestures. So his gestures become the visual aid. Sometimes he used a really expansive kind of gesture. He frequently looks at the group and will walk kind of toward one side or another. He even will kind of look around and be a little dramatic. And I think you can use yourself as a visual aid to really give emphasis to what you're really wanting to get across. There are also some use of language that I think really kind of zeroes in. You said practice and honing our leadership skills. And again, the use of some unique words kind of, again, perks up our attention. At one point, you even said Lance's speech was ka-ching and you snapped your fingers as well. So all those little techniques, in addition to the obvious visual aids, really adds to the speech. My only suggestion is that it seemed to me that you tended to look over to the right side of the room, even though you did include everybody during the course of the speech. So staying focused on everybody, I think, would help just a little bit, but it's a delight. It's nice to see you after all these years.